Hey everybody, welcome to the Scott Wyatt Podcast. Coming to you on this week's episode is an episode that you guys voted on. We had two topics up for discussion on my Facebook page, and it's the one you guys voted in, so we're going to be talking about it. Some of the country artists that I've met and that I can recall meeting, and I got some pictures of some of them I'll be popping up here for you up here on the TV. Ooh, goodness. Whew. I didn't know that guy was behind me. I was scared of the lights out of you. My goodness. Whew. Or scared the life out of you, not the lights. Well, I guess if you got lights in you, that'll do it. So anyways, without further ado, if you guys want to check out future polls, be sure you guys go on Facebook.com/Scott Wyatt Music. Just look up Scott Wyatt. It's pretty simple. So, yeah, we're going to get rolling into this. I tell you, the first one I want to talk about was, I was very young. My grandparents used to take me and my cousin Josh to the Tri-State Rodeo in Davenport, Iowa, I believe. Yeah, Davenport. Seen a lot of great country acts there. My first show there, I think, was Doug Supernall. The artist always played out to the rodeo. Lone Star. And then this guy, Steve Foley. You remember him from his big hit, Good Morning Beautiful, back in the day? I was a young kid at the time whenever I met him. It was just so brief, but it was so cool because, all I ever wanted to do was be a country artist, you know? And he was walking, he had finished his show on the stage, and then he was walking back to go sign autographs, I believe, somewhere, or meet and greet with some fans, which I wasn't going to. I remember just seeing him walk by, and my grandpa was next to me, and I'm like, kind of shake his hand, and he's like, yeah, go ahead. So I went up to him, I said, Mr. Steve Foley, my name's Scott Ferris, you are an amazing singer, and you put on a great show. And he shook my hand, and something about that moment, just whenever at that time was just like, I felt like, my life was set then. It was an amazing feeling. So, but yeah, that's one of the ones there, Mr. Steve Foley. I guess you can call that meeting him. But we're gonna take this down. See what first picture we have up. Okay, okay. This one right here. I was playing a writers round downtown Nashville at a place called the Whiskey Rhythm Saloon. And just the night before, I think, this was around about the time whenever Love and Theft, if you remember them. I mean, you obviously got to. They still have good stuff out, but it was one of their big. They had a couple big songs back to back, and they did a little release type show or something. I was there the night before, and I still remember seeing the posters up. But I thought I seen a familiar face in the crowd, and I'm like, that guy looks so familiar. I cannot place it. And then afterwards, I realized, back in the MySpace days, there was this guy that blew up, MySpace for one of the first artists I remember hearing about on there. Then I dove deep into his music and loved it. And that's where this picture comes in. Nope, not that one. We're getting ahead now. Right here, John from Secondhand. Well, he has Secondhand Serenade, and his wife, Veronica Balestrini. Super nice folks. This was the night, actually. I have never told the story, but some of my friends and family know. I drove down, left Illinois to go down and play the writers round, then drove back up to Illinois because I had to work the next day. I love them regular jobs, right? Yeah. So that was the only time I've ever done a turn and burn. So those guys are super nice. They invited me out to a bar they were going to at the end of the night here, and I ended up not being able to go because I had to drive back to Illinois. But I wish I should have went. And so that's that. So next up, what we got? I'm just hitting next, and I don't know who's up next. Oh, the one that was just up. Scotty McCreery. Champaign County Fair. I was playing guitar for Gracia Harrison's band at the time. It was on The Voice Season 3. Super talented artist. And Scotty McCreery looks pretty young there, and I look. It's not my best picture ever, but I think it's pretty funny. I remember sitting out there, and let me start that over. The start of the day, we had sound check before, and I was the only one out in the crowd area or outside from the stage besides Scotty McCreery and his band. Just me and the sound guy, and just listening to him do sound check, and I was like blown away by his singing and his whole band's background vocals. I forget what song they were warming up with vocally, but it was like an a cappella, I believe, like an old hymn maybe, but it was powerful. So yeah, I saw him out after the show backstage out by, this is, if you see the little, it looks like there's a little hanging roof right here. His bus is right over here to the side, and there's some little lawn chairs behind us here. They were all just hanging out here, and yeah, just visited for a little bit. Grabbed a quick picture with the Wild Man, but yeah, he put on a great show. Another thing just reminded me, I don't have a picture of it, but the Swan Brothers. A couple weeks before this show, actually, we were opening up for the Swan Brothers, and I was up there while they were doing their sound check and visiting with them, and they were all super nice dudes and super talented as well. So just throw that in there. Let's hit the X button and see who we got next. Bing! Slim Gamble. Interesting story here, and you guys will hear me talk about Slim in the future too. Slim, let me take you back to this day, how when I first met him. Some of you guys probably have no idea who this is, so I'm gonna, unless you guys can read the text over here. Lady Antebellum had just released a DVD, concert DVD of them playing somewhere, and I'd bought it. Huge Lady Antebellum fan, super talented group, and I was at the CMA Fest this year, and I was going to see this guy, Randy Montana. He was playing on the stage back behind here, and this guy's standing next to me, and I'm like, he had like the braided ponytails, and I'm like, that guy looks familiar. Why does he look familiar? I was like, oh yeah, Lady Antebellum. He was playing guitar with him in their band. So I'm like, hey, you play lead guitar for Lady Antebellum? He goes, yeah. I was like, cool. Well, and we talked a little bit about like Randy Montana and how fantastic he is, and yeah. So then, since this meeting led down the road for him to be, he is playing all the lead guitar work on my upcoming record, which we've been working on. I know you guys haven't really seen a lot of it or heard a lot, nothing yet, but it's coming soon, and Slim really brought a lot of it to life with his work. And also, he is also a jazz musician. He has an album out right now that dropped, I believe, middle of last year, by Slim Gamble, and it's called Fake Jazz. It's pretty sweet. So yeah, there's that one. Who we got next? Bing! Oh, I just threw this one here for the fun of it. He isn't even a country singer. I'm a big wrestling fan, as you guys probably can't see yet. But yeah, big old wrestling fan. All different kinds of wrestling, not just WWE. I was at a Ring of Honor show in Nashville at this time. This was about 7 months ago. I'm a big fan of podcasts. Do one of my own that you guys are listening or watching to right now. There's one called Something to Wrestle with Bruce Pritchard, 83 Weeks with Eric Bischoff, and What Happened When with Tony Schiavone. And this guy, Mr. Conrad Thompson, is the voice other than the host. So, or other than who's named on the, other than Eric Bischoff or Bruce Pritchard or Tony Schiavone. It's Mr. Conrad Thompson, one of the biggest names in the podcast industry and wrestling industry. Honestly, he's made quite a career for himself, and a super nice guy. He was one of the people there in attendance sitting near us at the Ring of Honor show in Nashville. So there's a little fun tidbit. All right, Joe Nichols. I was at a St. Louis Cardinals game. You can tell. This is probably one of the only pictures you'll ever see me wearing a hat. I usually never wear a hat. One of these days I'll tell a story about me wearing a hat in my hometown. And this guy thinking I was somebody else. It was a good one. But anyways, I'm sitting at this St. Louis Cardinals baseball game. And this guy comes walking up, like to go like out to like where the bathrooms and stuff are. I just look at him. I'm like, he kind of looks like Joe Nichols. So I said, hey, excuse me, sir. He goes, yeah. And I said, are you Joe Nichols? He's like, yeah. And I was like, what the hell else do you say? And so then I got up and shook his hand and stuff, and told him I recently just watched his episode on CMT called or on CMT or GAC. I think it was on GAC, Great American Country. They had a series called Backstory, and had a story all about Joe Nichols' beginning of his career to current time, and it was fantastic. And yeah. So I talked to him. I got to go down to his. I told him I played music and stuff, and which I'm sure a million people always tell these folks that. And but I had mentioned a couple other people that I knew, and I thought that he might know. And one of them was a guy that he had written with. I had written a song for him, so he knew him. So he invited me down to his little. He had a little suite area thing. Wouldn't really call it a suite. It was just more like a concrete slab with some chairs where only he could get him and the two other people he was with could get in and out of. And yeah, so just shot the breeze for a bit. Found out he was a huge St. Louis Cardinals fan and had been all of his life. And whenever he couldn't like fall asleep at night, he would listen to the Cardinals games, the late games on the radio. So I thought that was pretty cool. So yeah, that's Joe Nichols, probably one of the nicest people I've ever met, just in general. I would put another artist up there. I couldn't find a picture of it, but it was when I was at the CMA Fest a couple years back. Charlie Worsham, super nice dude and super talented. Just want to throw that out there. Joe Nichols and Charlie. Everybody I met's been really nice, but just I don't know, something about those two just stuck out in my mind. As well as Cowboy Troy. I couldn't find that picture either. Met him for about 5-10 minutes, and he was super cool too. High energetic dude. David Nail. I was playing the songwriters round in Nashville, and that's whenever I ran into Mr. David Nail. I was playing this writers round, and the hotel I'd stay at, there was a pretty cheap one. It's the reason I stayed there. I tell you what, I'm gonna tell some stories about this hotel, because there's been a couple, especially one time there was a wild story. Yeah, still rocking the Santa Claus mug here. But I was down there playing a songwriters round in Nashville. Get back to my hotel, and there's a Hooters right across the street from the hotel. And I was like, I'm gonna go grab me something to eat. It was later in the evening. I get there, there's like one family sitting off to the left, like on the tables, and had a half square of a bar there. So I sat there and placed my order, and look over to my right, see this guy, and a couple other people with him, and I don't know, me being a big country music fan as I am, and actually huge David Nail fan from the moment he started out. He's from St. Louis area as well, Wentzville maybe, but somewhere over there or over here. It's only 30 minutes away from where I'm at right now. But yeah, I was like, he looks like David Nail. So I was like, So I got up to go to the bathroom and asked him, I said, you David Nail? And he goes, yeah. And I was like, well, I told him who I was. So I'm a big fan, man. really appreciate what you do. I just kind of told him how I related to his music a little bit, just in a short, simple way. I wasn't getting all crazy fanboyed out on him, but I wanted to let him know that I appreciated his music and loved what he's been doing and been a big supporter of his. And he's like, you want to have a couple beers? And I'm like, sure. So I sat down with him and drank 3 or 4 beers and talked about music industry, Midwest life. Yeah. So that's that one. That was a fun time. Fun time. Okay, who do we got next? Boom. Adam Craig. There was another person too that I was gonna talk about. But yeah, anyways, Adam Craig. If you guys haven't checked out his music, you should do it. That's my wife with us there. But she was so excited to meet him. He was opening up for Luke Bryan this night. I can't remember if we were in St. Louis or Nashville. I think maybe Nashville, because it looks like their hockey team logo there. But yeah, met Adam, talked to him for a minute. I'd met him once before. This is my wife's first time meeting him. Adam's super great dude, very talented, hard worker, and puts on a great live show. And yeah, that's that. There was one other person I was trying to think of. Oh, we got all these old current song I'm working on. Can't really think of anything else that... Hang on a second. Sorry, I'm doing more than one thing at a time. Can't be doing that. That's a hard thing to do. There's one other person I'm trying to think. If it comes up, it comes up. I'll bring it up another time. But anyways, I appreciate you guys tuning in. Be sure you check out the poll on my Facebook page, Scott Wyatt Music. Yeah, just facebook.com/Scott Wyatt Music. I'm great at this promoting stuff, right? Yeah. So yeah, just look me up on Facebook, Scott Wyatt. Be sure you go and like the page and keep an eye out for the poll. I'll be posting it probably this Tuesday or Wednesday, as this podcast drops on Monday, as well as the video version on YouTube. Then the video version on Facebook will probably go up around in between Wednesday and Friday. Still working on a good schedule for that to see how it works for y'all, checking it out and how you like to consume the show. But these last 3 episodes doing the video format as well as the audio is really... We were growing the podcast really great up until December, and now you guys are just shooting it through the roof. Appreciate you guys sharing the stuff. Yeah, I'm going to quit yapping, and I'm going out of here. So I appreciate you guys' time, and thank you very, very much.